This conference will now be recorded.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Squash Canada's Coach PD webinar series. I'm pleased to see so many people registering for today's great presentation titled How to Market Yourself on Social Media. It'll have a bit of a fitness and lifestyle twist to it because that's what our presenter, Hannah Blatt, has a real passion for, but it will kind of cover how to do social media and how you can take advantage of some of the good, bad, and the ugly of the beast that is social media. With respect to our presenter today, Hannah is from Manitoba and is one of Canada's finest young players, both in college, university squash in the US and here in Canada. And we'll talk a little bit more about her background in a minute. With respect to the presentation today, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to put them in the chat, and we will address them as we go and or at the end of the presentation. Otherwise, I'd like to welcome our presenter, Hannah Blatt. Take it away, Hannah.
Hi, everyone. I just want to say thank you for joining, and I'm very happy to be here today. So today I'm going to be talking about social media and I guess my whole perspective on the Instagram accounts, Facebook, social media, and why I started Healthy Blatt, my fitness and health account. So some of you, how do you go next? All right, there we go. So some of you may know me, others may not. So I just wanted to introduce myself and give you a bit about me, my background. So I grew up in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, and I started playing squash at the age of 12. I was competitive in almost all the sports I played growing up, including tennis, in which I played before squash and then ultimately chose squash as my main sport by the age of 15. I participated in 2 Canada Winter Games representing Manitoba for squash, as well as the Canada Summer Games for tennis. And I would say the peak of my junior squash career was between the ages of 14 and 18, where I was competing against the top 5 girls of the age group above me, as well as holding the top 2 ranking spot in my own age group. Sadly, I never grasped a national title. However, I made multiple finals. I competed overseas at the British and Scottish Open, as well as the US and Canadian Open. And towards the end of my junior career, I was actually selected to represent Canada at the World Junior Championships in New Zealand. However, just due to family situations, I was unable to participate. This didn't stop me. I actually decided to look into different colleges, universities within the States, and I was recruited and granted an academic and athletic scholarship to attend Drexel University in Philadelphia, PA. And since then, I've been playing for their Division I women's squash team. I'm actually currently a senior, majoring in general business, minoring in entrepreneurship and sport coaching leadership. Unfortunately, due to COVID, our season's been canceled for this year. However, I technically have an extra year of eligibility to play and compete. So I'm hoping to go back and do my MBA next year and play for Drexel one more year. A little bit about my college experience. So my freshman year, which is your first year in university, I played the number 4 spot on the team out of 14 girls. And I set the most wins in a season, being 17-3, as well as I was granted the MVP award for the team. My sophomore year, I played the number 1 position, which was very tough. However, I helped lead my team to the best ranking we had ever had, which was number 7 in the country. As well as my junior year, I played number 2 and 3 on the team, and we also were ranked number 7 in the country. And so throughout my time at Drexel, athletics has always been one of my priorities, but academics is very important. So I've managed to maintain a high GPA, which allowed me to be acknowledged as a scholar athlete throughout my 4 years now. But with all this being said, I've grown up with a very athletic and competitive past in sports and have since grown a passion for nutrition and fitness and helping others, which is why I'm here today to talk about my Instagram account. So going on, so I actually started my Instagram account Healthy Blatt, which is not my, I guess, personal profile. It's a profile I started in March 2020 at the start of quarantine to try and promote a healthy living lifestyle with a platform to provide ideas and tips for working out, eating healthy, and just creating a positive mindset. My goal by creating this Instagram profile was to help inspire others to live a healthier lifestyle, just by showcasing what I do, and as an athlete, as a student, how I time manage myself, how I'm active, and just to create a sense of happiness within. Like I mentioned, I've always had a passion for health and fitness, and this is what ideally triggered my initial post to create this Healthy Blat Instagram account. So I started off by filming different home workouts and videos, sharing my day-to-day meals, recipes, but I've slowly started to integrate and realize that there's a lot more to overall health. And so I've been trying to showcase that on my Instagram account. And sharing all this content since March, I've generated almost 900 followers, which in the big perspective on social media is not a lot, but it is a start for me. And I do hope to progress this to maybe make it become like a side job for me, because when you hit a certain amount of followers, you can actually make money off all these social media accounts. But I've had great feedback from followers as well as my teammates and friends. And I believe that social media can be a great tool and a resource to help share ideas, promote topics, and bring people together with similar interests. However, you do have to be accepting of all the positive and negative feedback comments that social media comes with. So I'm going to go on to talk a little more about Instagram. I'm not sure how many of you have Instagram or have used it. I have an account where I just post about myself, but I also have my Healthy Blat account, which is more of a focus towards health and fitness. And it's actually, I'm going to talk about having a private and a public account. So you can see here, you come up with a username. Typically, you choose a username to showcase what your account is about, whether it's just your name, or maybe it's something more food related, or it's a business. You have the option to be private or public. When you're private, you have to accept followers, and you have full control over who has access to your media and your content. However, this account is a public account, so anyone can go in, they can see what I post. This could be highlighted on a page that I have no control over. I've decided to showcase myself as an athlete. Right here, I'm circling it. You can make yourself you can be showcased as a business, as a coach, as an athlete, as a blogger. There's a bunch of different names. You also have a summary that you have the ability to change, add to, and create. And it's kind of just a quick, brief summary of, the idea of your Instagram account. So mine is all about healthy lifestyle, food, workouts. And so I have a couple videos. I'm going to go into detail just about how to use Instagram. But right here, you have how many posts you have on your Instagram account. You have how many followers you have at the time, as well as how many people you're following. These circles right here, as you can see, I don't know if you can see my clicker. There's cook, yummy, do it, active. And so those are different ways to showcase your stories, which last 24 hours. They're not considered posts that stay until you decide to take them off, but they last 24 hours, and they're in this circle up here with your profile picture. And down at the bottom left corner, there's a picture of a house. That's how you scroll through your news feed. There's a search button and your profile in the bottom right. So going on, I have a couple videos of my screen that I just wanted to teach you and show you how to use Instagram. So this first one, so clicking on the edit profile, the rectangle, how do I pause this? There we go. So you have access, you can change your name, your username, you can add websites, which is a quick link for people to access. You can add to your bio. The category part right here is where you have the option to identify yourself either as a company, a business, a coach, an athlete. There's also different display buttons. So that's one interesting thing that people sometimes don't often know about. You can change your profile picture. The cool thing about being public is you have all this data that's given to you through your posts. And so it can tell you how many people like your post, how many accounts it's reached in a matter of a week or a month, which posts kind of generate the most, most interest. And so it gives you all this data. I'm just kind of letting this video play out, which is really cool. And a lot of bloggers use this and will start to post more of what is popular and what they see as trending. This second video here at the top right of your screen, you have 3 lines, and this allows you to access, oops, let me fix that. This gives you access to the settings, your archived pictures, stories, different insights, your activities, so your recent searches. You have the ability to save different posts, which I'm going to show you in another video. So going into the settings portion here, this is where you have the ability to go public, private, you can change your password, you can swap your notification settings, and there's a lot of information here that people often don't know about. So that's why I kind of wanted to help bring this to your attention. So the next part of this video is archives. So when you have your Instagram profile, you're able to take down posts, not necessarily deleting them. However, you can take them off the main page, but archive them and bring them back when you'd like, and only you have access to this. So story archives show you all your past stories, as well as there's post archives, and you can also have live videos in which people can log on, and it's not pre-recorded, it's all live. And so this is a cool piece of Instagram, which a lot of people don't know exists. The next part is the insights again. So it just gives you all this data. It can tell you kind of a better idea of who follows you, the age groups. So this is all cool if you are a public profile. And this next video here is how you create stories. So posting, you click the plus sign at the top, and you can create posts, whether that be something saved from your camera roll. But the story section it lasts 24 hours, and you can locate all the stories at the very top. You pull the screen to the right, and you're given the option to take pictures, upload stuff from your camera roll. You can create different things. So for instance, if you're trying to promote products, stories are a great way to do that. Or maybe there's a snippet of your training for the day you just want to kind of add, but you don't necessarily want to create a whole post about it. This is a great way to do that. So it's just kind of showing you how to create stories. And at the end of this, I'm open to any questions you may have. I'm going kind of fast. So on this next slide, I have another couple tutorials here. So an interesting feature, so if you click on a post, let me go back. So I click on the lower body workout post, and you're able to post multiple pictures in one, I guess, picture, if that makes any sense. And so rather than uploading one video of me doing 6 exercises, I like to kind of split it up so you can scroll through each exercise to see what each one is. And the cool thing about this is if you see the little paper airplane down at the bottom here, that is how you're able to share a certain post. The bookmark is how you can save it for later, so you don't have to go searching for it, and it comes up on your own profile later on. So people save recipes, workouts, maybe products they want to buy. And liking a picture is this little heart. You can also comment. And so if you would like to make this post, I guess if you'd like to highlight it on your story for the 24 hours or help share it, people are able to actually instantly click it off your story, and it goes straight to this page. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So I click the little airplane, and this pops up. So you're able to send it to certain people, or you can add post to your story. So you click the add post, and it brings you here, in which this is what creating a story looks like. You can add animations, you can add music, you can add hyperlinks, you can draw on it and write on it. And when you want to post it to your story, you click the little left button at the bottom, your story, or you're able to just send it to certain people. So that was interesting. I didn't know that was a whole thing until a little while back. The other part I want to talk about is actually posting onto your profile. And so the little plus sign at the top is how you add pictures. You can go through your camera roll, but you can also create drafts. And a draft is what you can see, nobody else has access to. And people often create drafts to kind of, I guess, just prepare for a post that they want to, or edit the captions and just make sure they want to post it before actually posting. So to draft, you create the post, and instead of posting it, you click the back option, save as draft or delete, and so you can save it as a draft. And so here are a bunch of drafts that I have, different meals, just to be kind of proactive and make sure I have content to post, and it's not always at that very instant. So that is a really cool feature that a lot of people do not know of, is you have the ability to kind of create posts, but not necessarily post them at that time. So next, so back to the profile insights. So I mentioned you can be private or public. Often people that are trying to share content with anyone would be public, because you're able to generate all this data, which comes in handy. And so, I mean, I just think this is quite interesting that it has all this information. When you are private, you do not have access to this. And so for each individual post, you're able to see how many people it reached, how many people comment, how many people have saved it. And it can be, and you can also promote it, which is where you pay a certain amount and it pops up on people's feeds without them having followed you, and just kind of to bring more awareness and maybe even generate more followers. So I took a screenshot of a workout I did, a quote I put up, and a different recipe, just so you can see kind of what people are interested in. So comparing the three of these, a lot of people save the ab workout. So whether that means they'd like to save the ab workout to do it later, or they shared it with a friend, this just comes in handy to kind of get a better idea of what you might want to post on your social media. Hence, this brings me to my next point. So depending on what you want to post depends on your goal of your Instagram. However, so with my Instagram, Healthy Blatt, I try and focus a lot on easy workouts that people can do at home, just because that's been, like with the quarantine and everything, home workouts have been very popular. So I post progress, my routines, different updates. Whether you're a business, you can showcase like promotions or specials, ideas, relevant content. And typically your followers have an interest in what you're posting, hence why they follow you. Also a hashtag. What is a hashtag? I still don't necessarily know what a hashtag is. However, I do know it helps kind of reach more people. So in the search button of your Instagram, you're able to put in certain words. So whether I put a picture up of my food and I go hashtag nutrition, hashtag meal prep, if people are looking for related content, my posts would pop up under the hashtag that I've used. And you want to make sure your hashtag is related to the post itself. So if I'm posting a video of me playing squash, I would hashtag maybe squash or hashtag sports, hashtag squash tricks. So people looking for that kind of content will come across my content on the search feed. Another important thing to keep in mind is when you're posting is you want your caption to relate to the post. You want it to kind of be an eye catcher. You want to make sure that when people read it, it's not too complex. It kind of gets to the point. It's almost like the bio for your page. You just want it to be simple. You want people to understand what you're trying to sell, if that makes any sense. So a little more about Healthy Blatt, the Instagram account that I made. So my focus is motivation, fitness, food. When I say motivation, I like to kind of encourage others using quotes, inspiration from myself, just to kind of get active, get moving, and just how if you have an agenda, a schedule, you're able to accomplish everything you want in a day. My fitness focus is easy, accessible. I want people to be able to work out. It doesn't have to be an hour workout. You can do a quick 15, 20, 30-minute ab workout. And I just want to get people involved and moving. And in terms of food, I believe everything in moderation, and I exaggerate that on my Instagram because I think it's important. I think me highlighting that, yes, I eat healthy, but at the same time, I'm able to eat ice cream and treat myself is very important, and people don't realize that you can kind of make everything work. And so I showcase different recipes, whether they're healthy or just different information regarding nutrition. And so what I want to go into detail about is how I create the content. So here I have a video. I'm not sure if the sound will work. It doesn't need to work. So I created a video using Video Shop, which is one of the apps that I like to use. There's also iMovie. There's many apps you can use to create videos. However, these are the two that I've liked the most. And so with this video, I'll take the sound out. I put a caption in, so when people click on the Instagram, they know what it's about. You're able to see the different exercises, and I try and do 5 or 6 exercises at a time. So this is all lower body. It's no weights. It's actually in my house. We don't have a gym, and gyms were closed at the time. And so I filmed different sections of exercises, and then I bring them all into the Video Shop app. I add them together. I add music, I add captions, you can edit them. However, what I do is I save it to my camera roll after I create the video, and I kind of separate the videos into smaller ones, but it still has all the sound, and then I go into posting it. So that's just kind of an interesting thing because a lot of people don't know how to add captions or sound to their music. And these two apps I would highly recommend. They are both free because I don't typically want to have to pay for an app in order to edit videos. That's kind of interesting about the fitness section and how I do that. The next part is taking pictures. I want to make sure that my Instagram account is visually appealing to people, so I like to edit the pictures. So this is a picture of fruit I had. And these are different apps you can use to edit. So there's VSCO, Tezza, and Afterlight, I would say are the top 3 that I use just to kind of change the saturation, the brightness, maybe crop the picture just so there's not too much and it gets to the point. The other 2 apps that are interesting here is Mojo and Unfold. So I used these apps when I was doing giveaways and I wanted to kind of create a little marketing tool with a logo, different pictures, different captions, and even if you want to kind of incorporate multiple pictures, these 2 apps are great when it comes to doing that. And so all the apps I'm showing you are free, just so if you ever want to try them. The other thing here, so the motivation section of my Instagram, I love reading quotes, inspirational quotes. I love relating to the quotes. And so I find all of my quotes on Pinterest, and you can save it to different pages on Pinterest. Pinterest has everything. If you're looking for new recipes, different ideas, styles, Pinterest has everything, and I would recommend looking into it. And so I like to use Pinterest to find the quotes, and then I upload them to my Instagram to share them with all my followers. And the other cool thing, Notion, which I've recently discovered, and I would highly recommend if you're a coach and you're trying to share an agenda or a schedule or kind of create a platform where you can share with your athletes. And so the cool thing about Notion, which is what I've been using to help share different workout routines with friends and then track their progress, I get them to put in their heart rate, the calories, how they thought the workout went, and you can check it off day by day just to see your own progress, as well as share it with me so I can see their progress. And so I would look at Notion if you're a coach or you just kind of want, it's kind of a good way to keep yourself organized, I would say. It's another way, instead of using just your phone calendar. These are 2 great apps to look into. So the other thing about social media is there are many different types of social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. And the one thing that I found is by linking your social media accounts, you're able to kind of generate, you're able to get more content out, you're able to help people see it. And so I linked my Facebook account to my Healthy Blat account, and I joined different groups on Facebook. So there's a couple health groups, fitness groups, workout, new recipes, and it's just a way to kind of get into a bigger community and help network yourself. And so this is interesting. And I'm going to go into more detail on the next slides. So with Facebook, you have the ability to send your Facebook to friends and invite them to like your page and your business. You can join related groups, like I mentioned. I've also used it when I'm looking for new houses or Facebook Market, and it's almost like a Kijiji in a way, but you're able to kind of just get a bigger reach. And so that's kind of what I want to talk about Facebook, but I don't use it as my main social media just because I'm not as familiar with Facebook, and I do really like Instagram and all the features it has. YouTube is a great tool for bloggers. They create videos. The videos are often longer on YouTube, so maybe 20 minutes rather than an Instagram video could be anywhere from 20 seconds to 3 minutes. So YouTube is a great idea for bloggers, or if I wanted to kind of go further and create a workout in full where people can kind of click on my YouTube channel, they can go through all the different workouts but work out with me rather than click on a quick kind of snippet of the exercise. And a lot of people who have Instagram and Facebook would link their YouTube channels to that account so people have quick access to it. So I do not use YouTube right now. I find it very time consuming to create the content and videos that most people put out, and this is not my full-time job. I am an athlete and a student, and I have a lot of other things to do. This is just kind of a side hobby. But in the future, I would like to start using YouTube more. The other account that I want to talk about is Twitter. So typically, I would say Twitter is used to make comments on current events, different topics, comment on different sports, and I'm not a huge fan of Twitter because I feel like it can kind of get out of hand at times with people's comments and just perspectives and biases. And so I have not linked a Twitter account to my Healthy Blat just because that's not the route I wanted to take. But I've heard great things about Twitter. It's just it's not my favorite type of social media. And so that's kind of all I had to talk about in terms of Instagram, social media, what I post, what you can post. I think there's so many different opportunities by using social media and benefits, but you also have to be aware of, I guess, all the negative comments that could come by putting yourself out there on these accounts. And that's one thing for me that was big, because people will follow you if they want to follow you, and that's based on their interests and if it's, I guess, similar content to what they want to be seeing. But social media can be warped in many different ways, so you just have to be careful what you post, who's seeing it, and if you want people to be seeing it, whether you're public or private, and just know that once it's out there, and you got to be open to everything. So that being said, I'm open to any questions. I kind of went through that a little fast, but yeah.
Great, thanks, Hannah, for that great presentation. I think the thing with social media is it's a real beast. It's changing every day with what you can and cannot do on all of the social media apps. I mean, there's so many more out there that I know exist, and I know I don't even use, but they are a very interesting tool to, like you said, market yourself and put yourself out there and talk about things that you want to promote, whether in your case it's fitness and a healthy lifestyle. For the coaches on the call, it might be squash drills, it might be something else. And with that being said, with regards to questions, we've had a couple of questions to start. The first one's from Morris Lukowicz, and so it's kind of a three-part question. So he asks, how is money made off these social media accounts? What type of dollars revenue are we talking? And where is the dollars revenue clarified online? So if there's anything you can add to that three-part question.
Yeah. So I know a lot of friends of mine have actually created blogs on Instagram, in which they have close to 5, 6, 7,000 followers. Businesses reach out to them in terms of promoting products, trying new things. However, I actually don't do much of this. I've had several companies reach out to me to try wearing their workout clothes, or maybe it be different protein powders. I just want to stay true to myself, and I've never been the type to use supplements because I believe that everything I need for my body and my nutrition can be found through food. So yes, you can make a lot of money off social media. In fact, people make it their full-time jobs. It's very time consuming in terms of being on the social media nonstop, responding to different messages, and just keeping intact and in touch with all your followers, because when you have such a big presence on these social medias, you have expectations. So for me, I've kind of tried to, I guess, keep myself lower key, just because I do not want this to be my full-time job at this very instant. But creating different workout programs and meal prepping is kind of one of the things I've been aiming to start working towards, so I could be making some money off that, if that kind of answers your question. But I do have more information on this if you'd like to send me an email, because I know a lot of my friends could kind of highlight a little more on this.
Just to further what Hannah was saying, an experience that I've had with respect to social media, and not so much making money off of it, but to comment further about how Hannah said you can spend money to promote. Prior to coming to Squash Canada, I worked at an organization called the Ontario Senior Games Association for people 55 plus, and what we did through Facebook was you can come up with paid ads, and this is where I think it's really important for some of you coaches out there who might want to promote some of your leagues or your club or whatever. Maybe your clubs are already doing it. Essentially, you can go onto Facebook, set up your account, create a call to action. So similar to what Hannah's done with all of her, healthy lifestyle, videos and pictures and whatnot, and messaging. Create that call to action, and then you pay a certain amount. You can determine how much. You could do $25 or $2,500, and then target a specific area, within the country or the world, and then Facebook takes it from there over the certain number of days that you want to reach, and it spits out statistics when you're finished, and it helps promote whatever you're trying to promote. So it's just another small tool that's accessible via, in this case, Facebook. And I know some of the other social media apps are now doing it as well. I think Facebook was the first one to do it, and this goes back a few years, but it sounds like Instagram does it as well. Next question, Hannah, from Trevor Borland. Are you able to show us again how to see which videos have the most views again on Instagram, if you want to pull your presentation back up and show that slide?
Yeah, give me 1 second. Are you able to see the screen?
Correct.
Okay. So if you were on page here, let me just open this up. Okay. So just actually going off the promotions part, that section is found on the first page if you are public. And yeah, you have the ability to, I guess, pick how much you're willing to spend, how many people you want to reach, different areas, different focus groups. And so that's kind of accessible right here in the promotion section. And then in terms of the insights, if you're public, you have the ability to click on insights, which is right here. You may have to kind of pick a category in order to find insights. So become an athlete, a coach, business. And it's also accessible through the 3 top lines here. Let me see if I can pull this up. All right. So if you click on the Insight button, it gives you a bunch of different data, and there's actually more to it. I just kind of showed the basic part of it. It shows you different followers, how many people comment, how many people have accessed your account. Maybe this one shows it a bit more. Here, I'll go to the slide with the quick picture of it. So yeah, you're able to access all this information. And it's quite interesting. I don't actually look at it too often, just because I don't have a lot of time. But more recently, I have been looking at it just because I'm interested in whether people want to see more workouts, more recipes, just quotes. And so you're able to see how many people repost it or share it with a friend or comment on it, or even when you post a picture, if it randomly shows up on people's feeds because of the hashtags you've used, it shows how many people have gone from that post into your profile to take a look. So, yeah.
So another question from Jeff Williams from Edmonton asks, can you be various categories? So for example, can you be an athlete, coach, and a business? So I guess set it up and have multiple categories.
So that is an interesting question. I actually just pulled up my phone here to see if you could categorize yourself as multiple. I'm not sure. I think you may have to pick one. However, if there's a way to kind of correlate all those, there may be a word for that on Instagram. But the way you check is you go into your own profile, you click edit profile, and you scroll down and it says profile information. There's page, category, contact, and so you click the category section, and some of the suggested categories it pops up for me is you can show athlete, blogger, coach, comedian, chef, and I'm sure they're fitness trainer. So I'm sure there's a word that could kind of sort of incorporate all 3 of those. However, I don't know if you can click 3 different words. Would be my answer. Yeah.
Hannah, maybe you can talk to the group for a minute about you know, what it's like with respect to the feedback that you've received, you know, good, bad, the ugly, you know, have you had the ugly, you know, versus, you know, the good and everything in between. What type of feedback can the group be prepared to see, you know, and how do you handle it? I know for me, when I get something negative, if it's related to Squash Canada, I'm in there just deleting it because I don't want that to be reflected on our profile for Squash Canada. But from a personal perspective, you may see it differently. Can you just talk to that a little bit?
Yeah. So I've actually had, luckily, very positive feedback. I've had people that I know, people that I don't know message me, react to different posts and stories. In fact, I've even had people reach out to me asking me to help create a schedule for them or a workout routine, or them asking me questions about what I eat or how I eat. And I've created some different workout plans for some people to meet their specific goals, and it's all individualized. I haven't experienced too much negative commentary just yet. However, I also don't tend to involve myself in any political or anything that could be very controversial. I know a lot of bloggers state their points and are very passionate about drama, if that makes any sense. So I try and I don't get involved, just because that's when I think you generate a lot of different opinions. And so on most of the stuff that I put on here, is very, I don't know, I'd say natural. It's just easy workouts, foods. But the one thing people are going to say what they're going to say. It's easy to say that you can't really care what other people do. You just got to do your own thing, know your worth. And so if I have had negative feedback, I don't tend to, I guess, throw a fire out there. I just kind of try to put it out. I don't want to create any drama, unnecessary negative energy. But people are going to be people, and it's like life. You kind of got to go with the flow, react in a better way than not, instead of just flaming their fire and getting into. That's why I don't necessarily go on Twitter, because I think there's so many unnecessary comments where people just need to start minding their own business. And if people want to send negative comments, or you get negative feedback, I think, well, they shouldn't be following you in the first place. And most of the people that do follow me want to see the posts that I'm posting, and so it makes me feel, I guess, appreciated in a way, if that makes any sense.
Great, thanks, Hannah. Another question here from Simon Hall in St. Catharines. Just asks, how much time do you invest in your Instagram account? Do you post daily, or do you have another routine? Like, do you get up in the morning and that's the first thing you do, or you just do it throughout the day or every few days? What's your routine that might, reflect for the coaches on the call as to how they might go about using social media?
Yeah. So I personally don't like to spend a lot of time on social media. I sometimes think it's a waste of time. However, I do like to share my content. So let's say I wake up in the morning, I like to do an hour walk. And so I'll record my walk on my Apple Watch, and I'll sometimes take a picture of the walk and how far I've gone and the time, and I post that on the story section of Instagram, just so people can see, well, hey, you can get up, go on a walk, get your day started in a good kind of way. And then I come home, I take a picture of maybe what I eat for breakfast, just to kind of show people an example of, well, hey, I went on a walk and then I had this to kind of replenish my nutrients. And so I don't like to spend hours on there. Throughout the day, I'll take pictures and then upload them later on, or when I have a second of free time. When I do workouts, I like to, I actually get my mom to come take a couple videos for me. And then if I'm just sitting doing nothing, at some point in the day, I'll go over and edit the video. So it's not a paid job for me. It's more of a hobby, like I mentioned. However, if I was a paid blogger, they spend hours and hours and hours on their computer, and I'm not sure if that's the lifestyle I'd ever want, because I like to be out and about and active, and my Instagram is just kind of a reflection of my lifestyle. And so I do like to post every other day, not daily, because I think it's overwhelming if people post too much. In fact, a lot of bloggers post to their story like every other hour and showcase everything they do in a day. And a lot of people kind of just scroll right through it. They don't even watch it. So then it's kind of like, well, you're just wasting your time. So you want to make sure you're not wasting your time or anybody else's. And I typically try to put out information that's relevant to my goals on social media and who I am, and just showcasing, I guess, how you're able to accomplish everything you want as long as you prioritize. And so I don't spend a lot of time, and I don't like to post every single day. There'll be days where there'll be weeks I don't post, and then I say, oh, I'm just making a quick appearance on this social media. This is kind of what I've done. Here's a workout. I also like to post stories to see what people are interested in. So you can take, people can ask you questions on the stories, or you can do a poll saying, would you like to see more recipes or more workouts? And then you kind of use that to generate your next post. So I'd say you don't want to overwhelm your followers. However, you also, you want to have stuff to post every now and then, if that answers your question.
Okay, next question comes from Karina Lynn. With the business account in Instagram, can you schedule your posts, or is that another app that does that? I know, Karina, Facebook is really good for connecting, Facebook and Instagram for posting, but I don't know specifically in Instagram, so maybe you can speak to that, Hannah.
Yeah, so like I mentioned, there is the draft section. However, I don't think it will automatically post it. I think you have to kind of approve it. But the cool thing about the draft section, and I've used this many times, I create a post, but I don't necessarily want to post it on that day at that time, and I want to save it. And so it has the caption, everything's ready, and all you have to do is click on the post, go in there, and then push share. So it's pretty simple, but I do not believe they have the option of automatically uploading different posts just yet. At least not to my, at least I'm unaware of it. So.
Just to take that further, Hannah, Karina, yeah, I've noticed that just recently Facebook has a business suite that does allow you to do Facebook and then connect to Instagram or not connect to Instagram, and you can schedule posts. So there's some advancing technology there, and I've even noticed Twitter recently appears to have added things where you can schedule posts. So if it's not there now, it's probably something that will come very soon. So social media seems to change every day with what features they have. Any other questions? Feel free to type in the chat, or if you want to unmute your microphone even, feel free to ask any other questions.
Hi, it's Karina. I have one more question. When you created your business Instagram account, and you said you linked it to Facebook, did you create the same identity in Facebook, like not your personal account, but your healthy business account?
Yeah, actually, so what I've done is I went onto Facebook, and you have the ability to kind of create different pages where you can share with your actual profile friends. And so I linked that account to my Healthy Vlad account. So when I post on Instagram, you have the option to post to other social medias as well, so you don't have to kind of go on each one individually. So they are linked together, and when I posted a story or a picture on my Instagram account, I've enabled it that it automatically goes onto the Facebook correlated with that account. So yeah, you do have that option, which is very nice and it's ideal. But yeah, you can link different accounts, multiple accounts. It just depends which ones you want to link together.
Thank you.
Yep.
So while we're just waiting to see if we have any other questions, I'm just going to take a quick minute to highlight for everybody that's on the call our upcoming webinars that are scheduled. We've got another one set for January 27th on urban squash, presented by their executive director. And then on February 9th, we have another one presented by Paradigm Sports, and it is called Coaching Beyond the Game. So we hope you'll consider registering for those, and we'll have more coming forward. On the call today as well with us is Squash Canada's Director of Athlete Development, Jamie Nichols. He and I are going to be working on some webinars, both for coaches as well as athletes. So stay tuned for those as we go forward. Any other questions before we begin to wrap up? Any other questions? Just to answer your question, Jeff, don't worry about your NCSP number. If I can't find you, I'll reach out to you, but I should be able to find any coaches who have a coach profile. I should be able to find you in the CAC Locker database. So last couple of questions comes another one from Simon. This question relates more to your profile. Are U.S. colleges, they seem to be reducing their squash teams. Is that true?
In terms of reducing their squash teams, do you mean getting rid of their teams or just the amount of squash players on a team? Sorry, I just want to Just curious.
Yeah, excuse me. Yeah, I am thinking about reducing the number of squash teams that are sponsored.
Mhm.
What I'm reading is that with COVID restrictions and tuition income being reduced to colleges, that they are cutting certain programs, and squash has been cut, I believe, from what I've read, by some colleges. So I'm wondering if you're hearing from other players or from your school about that being a pattern that is becoming noticeable,
Mhm.
or anything at all about that that development.
So that actually came up in a conversation earlier today. So I do know Stanford and GW are a couple teams that are not funding their squash teams anymore, and they're getting rid of them. However, I can't see the top Ivy Leagues and even Drexel or some of the other schools getting rid of these teams. I think there's a good community with really good funding. I mean, the one thing about universities is the reason football and basketball are all so, I guess, hyped up is because they bring in the most amount of money, where squash, there isn't a lot of money when it comes to spectators. And so sometimes, in terms of scholarship money for the non-Ivy League schools, it's tough to encourage athletes to come. So it all depends on the team. I know for my team, over the years, my 4 years, the first year there was 12 girls, the next year there was 14, and in fact, this upcoming year there was supposed to be 19 of us on a team, and only the top 9 play for each team. And so it seems to be quite popular, and more people from overseas are coming here to play, and it's a great way, a lead way, I think, into professional squash and joining the tour, because it gives you really good exposure to different squash players from all over. In fact, my team is very, very diverse, and a lot of people use it, yes, just for an education, but in terms of myself and some other players, in terms of the Sobies, I think it's a great way to kind of just train and get different experience playing different people, and it's a good leeway into professional squash. So I can't imagine that they would get rid of it completely, but maybe the funding at certain schools will be impacted slightly by this.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you very much. That's you're very candid, and I appreciate that.
Great, thanks for that question, Simon. So make this the last question as a wrap up here from Karina. I think this is some clarification she's looking for, Hannah. For your personal Instagram account, when you set it up, did you set it up as a business account or set it up as something different when you did your personal versus the Healthy Black account?
Yeah, so for my personal Instagram account, it's actually, my username is Hannah Blatt. It's very accessible, but it is private. So anyone wanting to follow me or see what I post has to send a following request, and I have to accept them. So I typically only accept people that I know personally, or we have mutual friends, and I know that it's safe to have them following me, because I don't want just random people accessing I guess more of my private life and like friends that I want to showcase on my social media. So I chose to keep my Healthy Blatt, my public account, with anyone being able to access it. And I've had people follow that account and then follow my other account, but I like having, I guess, the option to accept people or not. So that account is private.
Great, thanks, Hannah.
Mhm.
Okay, so first off, I'd like to thank you, Hannah, for a wonderful presentation on how to market yourself on social media.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
And for the rest of you on the call today, coaches, thank you so much. Later today or tomorrow, you will get the slides and the video link to watch again. And as well, we will set you up in the locker to get your 1 PD point. Otherwise, thank you for attending today's Coach PD webinar, and we wish you a happy new year and look forward to you attending the next Coach PD webinars in a couple of weeks. Thank you. Thanks again, Hannah, for that great presentation. I'll touch base if I need anything, but I'll copy you on my email to the coaches, so that way if they have any other additional questions, they can certainly email and ask, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, of course. Anything.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, so we're gonna close this up, and otherwise we will touch base